Hello everyone.
Okay, let me just take. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of our pod. Don't. Does it pain for you when you laugh?
Yes. Not only this.
Okay. Rolling? So tell me about yourself. How would you introduce yourself?
I'm a coaching guy. I run an institution.
So, sir, why I'm asking this is how do we derive our identity? From our job? Is it from, the money we earn?
Yes, definitely. This struggle with identity is kind of continuous journey.
How's my voice, Bharat? Is it very melodious?
Do rap.
God.
Yo. Next question.
What is the purpose? Like, where are we seeking our validation?
It is more about being a good human.
So, but how do aspirants do it? Because they get very depressed.
Basically focusing on the process.
What are the practical steps like an aspirant must?
They should be very clear about why they want to be in the civil services. And once they are very clear about why they want to be in civil services, they should have a plan, one exit plan and entry plan. Rewards are not immediate, most of the cases. They come slowly.
Instant gratification, but it is sustainable in the long run.
Correct. Nicely put.
If you had to give a message to Vinay, the aspirant at the age of 28, while he was struggling then, where to derive his identity from, what would you tell him today? Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of our podcast, A Little More Light. Today I have with me Vinay sir, who's going to address a few pressing queries that aspirants have during the UPSC preparation. Hello sir.
Hello, Vinita.
So sir, tell me about yourself.
About myself, I am...
Like if you had to introduce yourself at a party or, in a social setting, how would you introduce yourself to somebody you don't know at all?
Like, to be honest, I'm an introvert. I like to hide from people.
Okay.
Whenever I go to these parties and functions, I'm like, don't like to be introduced. But if at all somebody comes and asks, who are you? Then I will tell them, I'm a coaching guy. Like, I run an institution where I train people for getting into Indian administrative service.
So you introduce yourself as, Vinay Kumar GV, founder and director of Insights IS. Is that how you introduce yourself?
No,
to
I
someone?
usually don't say I am the founder, director and all.
Okay.
So I just tell people, I like to undermine things, in an unassuming way. Then they will come to know about me through other people and then they will tell, wow, this person is humble, honest and other things.
Okay. So the point of this question is when you were preparing for UPSC, let's rewind a bit. So you had graduated and you started preparing and you failed a few times, right? So at that point in time, when you think back, when you look back, how did you, introduce yourself? How did you identify yourself? Because see, now let's say an aspirant has, quit their job. Let's say they were a software engineer and they've quit their job and they've been in the preparation journey or cycle for a few years. Now they're going to if someone asks them, what are you doing in life? That's a common question. And when
So
they
it used to be very worse. So I told you now that even now I like to hide, right? So at that point of time when you were an aspirant, when I was an aspirant, I used to, first of all, not attend these functions because of this question. I used to get scared that what if people ask me, what am I doing?
you're embarrassed about it, like a lot of aspirants.
I was embarrassed and I was scared also because there was this pressure all the time to
Scared of, sir? What were you really scared of?
like how will they judge me. So I used to think about all
Yeah.
these things when I was an aspirant. I only overcame all these things when I exhausted all my attempts, when I made peace with UPSC. But before that, I think this struggle was continuous. So then I used to introduce. I think there I learned to be like this, unassuming way. So I just told people I'm nothing, I'm not doing anything in life. So I
You would
actually,
say that? Would you really
yeah,
say that?
especially when the last attempt, when I had no job or anything, I would tell people, no, I'm just unemployed. So nothing. Just read random books and write
You wouldn't
random
even
stuff.
tell them I'm a UPSC aspirant.
No, I mean, people whom I talked to, they knew I was UPSC aspirant, but in general, so if somebody was asking, what am I doing, who I am, I would tell, I'm somebody zero, nothing.
And would that make you feel really bad inside?
In the beginning, it used to. Later, when you keep repeating it, no, So then it doesn't make any difference.
You become immune to it.
Mm.
So, sir, why I'm asking this is, how does one, how do we derive our identity? Is it, from our job? Is it from, the money we earn? Because a lot of people say, hey, you know what, I'm XYZ, I work at XYZ company, or I earn XYZ. So, they identify themselves in a very external manner, like what the society, labels them as, or the jobs they have. And is that the right way we should derive our identification? Because a UPSC aspirant, oh, we get a lot of emails or messages, and even people you talk to, I'm a failure, I have failed so many times. And that is a really bad way, or a very toxic way of how people are choosing to identify themselves. And they're not choosing it, it's like imposed on them from societal perspective. So what do you think, like how do we counter this? Like how do we like start, do we need to change how we identify ourselves, from where we derive our identity?
Yes, definitely. This struggle with identity is kind of continuous journey. So we have faced it in school days. Even when I was in village, that I have faced. I'm sure everybody goes through this, right? So whenever you enter a new school, a new social setup, so you come across people, total strangers, with whom you are about to interact. And when you want to interact, you want to introduce yourself as somebody, right? So that crisis is always there. You
Like
can
you
be
want to
let
be taken seriously by the other people, you don't want to like seem inferior. There's this insecurity about seeming inferior to people at large.
correct. So that is one aspect. Another one is, it is some kind of self satisfaction also. To feel that you are important. So I feel that this identity is a whole the big reason for all our hmm,
Problems,
problems, the
overthinking.
chasing identities.
Yeah.
So now I have reached that stage where I don't like to be identified with insights or my institution or anything. It is more about being a good human, right? So that is what ultimate identity that I want to be identified with. That somebody who is peaceful, somebody who means no harm to anyone, somebody who is simple, somebody who loves his family, somebody who is a dedicated father. So I think these are the identities that I would like to be identified with, rather than being told as somebody where people tell me, like, when some parents come and meet. So now I'm kind of recognized. So they come and tell me that you are running a factory of IAS officers.
Oh.
You produce so many IAS, IPS, and then you have created wealth for yourself and other things. They really don't mean anything. I just give a small smile and then I just dismiss those things, like, within me, like, I don't speak about it. So but when people say that you're a family man, so that gives me more happiness than when people tell me that you have built, people use all these nonsense word that you have built an empire,
Oh.
this and that, and I tell no. So what gives me more happiness is when I go back home, I have time to spend with family, and then I have time to spend with myself, some hobbies and activities, and then getting a good sleep.
But then, sir, like, okay, then why are you doing, like, let's say you have to look within, or should you like chase external things? Like, why do we do what we're doing? Like, what is the whole purpose? Why are we preparing? Are we, why are aspirants preparing? Now you see like social media celebrities, officers. What is the purpose? Like, where are we seeking our validation from? Because that is what is like leading to this whole identity thing. Like,
Again, there are two aspects here: somebody who is intentionally seeking validation, somebody who is seeking attention. Okay, so they are
okay.
chasing fame also. Maybe that is why they may be writing stuff on Twitter. That is why they are posting their reels and their videos on Instagram. That is to seek validation. So they are chasing it. So there is another category which I like to be part of. I think I've discussed previously also, to find my own strengths, to find or to put it in a spiritual way, to add a new dimension to my life. That I want to do something new. I want to experiment with life, right? So I don't care about what people think about it, whether people are going to like it or dislike it. It is about finding the various possibilities in life. So while I am flowing with the life, but at the same time I feel that I can do much more than what I'm currently doing. So everything that I want to do is in furtherance of this idea that I want to explore
So it's
different
coming
dimensions of my life.
it's coming from within. You're not doing it for anything external, no external
Absolutely not.
validation at
No,
all.
no.
So you've obviously had a lot of experience, and you were not like this, from the start, right? So obviously you've been through the phases, and that's after all the stages you've come to the stage where, okay, you're like, you've reached the stage where
Still continuing, it is
yeah,
still evolution. I don't know what will be the next stage,
yeah.
but I want to be something more peaceful, mostly inward looking rather than, you know.
Okay, yeah. So, but how do aspirants do it? Because they get very depressed, they get very upset, especially for those who are unsuccessful, and they don't have a proper, like, they feel they don't have a proper identity because
See,
they're attaching
what
it
I
to
told
external
you
things.
perfectly applies to an aspirant's life also, right? How what I told is that basically focusing on the process, right? So now an aspirant is going through various stages of stress, depression, lack of belief in their ability, self doubt,
Yeah.
anxiety, other things. The reason is again somewhere unconsciously or subconsciously, whatever way you put, they're still seeking validation. They want to focus on the outcome, they want to crack the examination. Somewhere the focus is not on bringing the best out of them, making themselves the better version, so called. That is what, again, further strengthening their own qualities, values, some of the skills. If the focus is on them in a framework that is guided by syllabus, guided by people like us, who are experienced in this examination through a mentor, and if they focus on improving various aspects of the examination which are again related to their lives, so I think they will not only be happy, but also they can derive their identities also, because they will somehow find their interests, what interests them more, and later they can create an identity out of it. Those who want that kind of identity, they can do it
Like the external identity. But
if somebody wants.
yeah, but at the same time, like, how do they internally, like, as you said, they have to focus on, personality development also internally, like, look inwards. So what are the practical steps like an aspirant must do? Because I think we really need to counter this whole identity. They really suffer. Like, we've seen several aspirants. So what should they really do? Like, if you have to give like 5 steps, what should they do?
The first step, they should be very clear about why they want to be in the civil services, and once they are very clear about why they want to be in civil services, they
They
should
should
have a
find their why. Their why is
why.
sometimes not very, they don't have clarity
No,
regarding their why.
I asked this question why in every mock interview for those
Oh, yeah.
who have cleared mains. I asked this. This is a standard question. Why IAS?
Yeah.
70-80% of the answer is same
What is
for
the answer?
everyone.
So, like, what do they
That's
usually
what,
tell
like,
you?
I like the diversity in the service. It gives me satisfaction, job security, and some kind of social status. So these are the often repeated. So one, they should be very clear. I believe they should have a bigger purpose than what the job offers to them. It is about what they can do to the job, what they can do to the service through the job, rather than what IAS or IPS or IFS gives to them, right? So that is, people are not very clear. I think if that is clear, they will be very focused.
That's a very good thing you said. Like, what you can do for in that position rather than what the position is going to give you, your
Again, that stems
platform.
from this external validation thing. It has a
Yeah.
relationship with that.
Very nice. They should actually look inwards and see how they can change things. Like, not exactly like, of course, they can't do sweeping changes initially, but how are you utilizing what's unique about you, and how changing, like, bringing about
Correct. See, if
change.
you become the best, right,
Yeah.
in that job, again, that will give you so many opportunities. There'll be so many avenues for you to grow personally, in the sense that you enhance your qualities, capabilities, which can be translated into good work, right? Again, that good work must be done as part of this service, without any expectations.
Yeah.
So that we need to, I think, develop, cultivate. So when you want to do anything without expectation, that is, again, you are not seeking any attention or validation. So once you are out of that mode, I mean, out of that thinking where you want someone to reward you, praise you for everything, then I think the process will be smooth. You
Yes.
won't be stressed.
So first they have to find their why.
Hmm.
Then
Second, then they should have a plan, one exit plan and entry plan, right?
a lot of people don't keep an exit plan,
Hmm.
right?
So my suggestion, I think in last podcast
Yeah.
we discussed, 1 year you prepare intensely, then second year either you go for a higher education or a job. So where you can have financial independence, or you can have some kind of security of future, like where you are sure about getting into some kind of a job which will give you financial cushion to further prepare for the examination. So I think that people should be very clear, because they don't come with clear why, and then they don't know clear how to
Yeah.
go about, then they get stuck here
For like,
eternally, like forever.
yeah.
So 6 attempts means like still 6 attempts they are stuck here. I think it's all about attitude. So
What's the
third,
right attitude?
then I think third point
Third
is
one.
cultivating right attitude. This preparation itself will teach you right attitude, provided you are open to learning. So for personality to develop fully, so which even I am trying to develop my own personality, the right attitude is important. The right attitude, I think, starts with right learning mindset. So I have
Yeah.
to be curious all the
Be
time.
open to learning.
Curious, basically
Yeah.
you have to be curious, and you have to keep learning at every instance of your life. So now people, again, students come with the mindset that this is another exam, another competition, and they want to score well in every test they give. And if they don't score well, and they think really, they get sad about it, they become sad about it, that they're not doing well despite putting all the work. So it is not about outcomes again. So if you are not performed well, I tell people that there's a biggest learning opportunity for you. So if you keep looking that way, what happens is that your own personality undergoes some transformation beyond the job. Even when you get IAS officer, you will be recognized for being simple, being humble, because if you want to learn everything in every instance, it naturally makes you humble, right? Because you won't intimidate another person.
You won't think you know everything also.
You won't behave like that
Yeah.
as if you know everything.
Yeah.
That is the arrogance when people
Yeah.
have. Not everyone. Those who think that they had the privilege to study in the big colleges, or like big company jobs and other. I have seen some people behaving arrogantly. So there is no end to anything in this world.
Also, getting the, let's say they clear the exam and they get the job, that's not an end in itself. Like, it's not like you're not, that's when the real thing starts, actually, right? I mean, a lot of people don't see that part of it also.
See, we have not tapped even a fraction of our potential. No human ever,
Yeah.
right? So that is a journey we have to look into, right? So there are some humans who have tapped their potential and achieved biggest things in history. There are humans who are still trying to achieve bigger things. So somebody who builds a home, somebody who gets into Google, somebody who gets into, let's say, MIT, Princeton, somebody who gets into IAS, I don't know what, suddenly they think that they have achieved everything in this world.
Identity.
And that is why I said no. So identity is the root.
What is the next step after cultivating the right attitude?
After the right attitude, what we need to have is consistency in practicing that attitude, right? So what happens, people realize that they are doing certain mistakes. People they have these revelations, enlightenment episodes, that I need to be something like this. So they look at a topper and they think, okay, I want to be like this.
Today, from tomorrow, I am going to do this.
Tomorrow, some people today itself.
Okay.
Yeah. So so then what happens, they don't follow that. I think the reason is not internalizing, not reinforcing the attitude that they have realized that they should have. So for this, I think you need to have a strong focus, right? And then start practicing it. There is resistance always. Somebody who is who has been arrogant, suddenly he cannot be humble, right? There is some ego issue, right? But I think they should be open to the fact that once they start changing here, the rewards are more, right? So again, the rewards are not immediate. Most of the cases, they come slowly, so that people are not aware of.
No instant gratification, but it is sustainable in the long run.
Correct. Nicely put. Yes.
And then, sir, so right attitude, then you have to be consistent.
Hmm.
Next,
I think you have to be humble all the time, right? Humble in the sense, in everything you do, wherever you go, with whomever you meet. Humility, again, humility is not a submissiveness.
yeah,
It's
a
neither
lot of people
weakness.
confuse being submissive with being humble.
No. So one can be humble at the same time, very confident. Sometimes people can be humble and intimidating also to the people who dislike you. right?
Okay.
So I think it comes with more social interactions. You will eventually learn how you can be humble yet confident. Where people see that whatever you are doing, you're doing with conviction, assertiveness.
So, sir, today, if you had to give a message to Vinay, the aspirant at the age of 28, while he was struggling, then if you had to rewind time, go back in time, and tell him, give him advice about where to derive his identity from, what would you tell him today?
If that opportunity arises, it
Time
comes
travel.
my way, I would tell him that be kind on yourself. Don't treat yourself badly. That someday you're going to become successful from the societal definition, that you are going to do great things no matter what is happening with you, no matter any negative issue that is happening with you. Still feel proud about yourself, that you dreamt very big, and then pursue that particular dream with all your
Passion,
passion,
intensity.
intensity, good intention,
Yeah.
the wholeheartedness. Whatever be the result, that life is going to be very kind with you. And then I would just give him the strength required to fight the things that at that time whatever he was facing.
And stop thinking of yourself as a zero. Like you said initially, at that time you thought you were like a nobody. You had that self definition of yourself.
I think I would tell that also,
Yeah.
because so we have to keep telling. I yesterday in orientation I told people, for batch 8 people I told them, so when you have fallen down, when everybody is trampling on you, when everybody is against you,
Yeah.
when the odds are against you, even in that moment feel that you are going to conquer the world, right? Maybe I would have given this message to that Vinay Kumar. Maybe he would have done even bigger things. Who knows?
There's still time, lots of time.
Huh,
He's in the process of achieving,
not achieving.
accomplishing his dreams, exploring him, discovering himself.
Correct.
Process of self discovery.
Absolutely right.
So it was really great talking to you, sir. I hope that with this message, aspirants like learn not to put all their hopes on the result of an exam, not to associate the identity completely with a job or a designation or anything external for that matter.
I hope they will be able to understand the message in this podcast, and I hope you will be kind to yourself, and no matter what is happening with you, feel proud about you, and be happy and enjoy the process. Somewhere something is really big thing is waiting for you. You don't see it, you won't see it now, but believe in that. Wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.